did do it. Look at that.
Huh.
Here we are. Hello. Probably only YouTube will see this because Facebook doesn't populate until later. That's the name of it's the nature of the beast.
Is that actually true?
It is. I'm going to go ahead and welcome people. Welcome to another episode of the CapmLew podcast with your host and other host. I'm CapmLew.
I'm Luke.
There we are. For what it's worth, we are up in the upper sanctum here, ensconced with we've got boards up there. We've got Luke in his chair and me in my chair. Particularly pleased with our tech setup today. We've got the Facebook Live going, which no one will see until they view it on YouTube, because that's how Facebook Lives work. Nobody comes on that.
I think people get on sometimes.
Maybe.
Are these allegedly brass knuckles going to incriminate us in a court case one day? On the video?
Not if they are plastic replicas.
That's exactly what they are.
Allegedly. I don't think that there's anything incriminatory about a plastic replica brass knuckle, and I assert clearly that plastic replica brass knuckles are not they're not a problem, are they?
No,
they're not.
No, I agree.
So, and that's my first Harley Davidson. I bought it in Mississippi.
Did you just skip the M on that?
I said what I said. And I bought it down there and had a wonderful adventure riding it back up. Sight unseen, went down there with my friend Luke. Remember that trip, Luke?
Is that the one we took in the van?
It's the one we took where we had a motorcycle.
Oh, that one.
Where we went and got my first Harley.
I do remember that.
I'd been riding a GS 550, which I offloaded on a sucker.
Me.
Yeah, I offloaded the GS 550 on Luke, and I rode the Sportster. It was 1200. Was a 1999. Is a 1999.
Yes.
1200.
Yes.
And it's presently in a state of disarray.
Indisposed.
I just found a frame for $500 for it. Softail frame.
Does the Sportster motor go into it?
It is made for a 90s Sportster. Brad has it. It's in the basement.
How is it a soft? I don't understand.
So Softail suspension looks like a hardtail suspension, but it has a set of dual shocks underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Softail frame with bolt-ups for a 90s Sportster motor for an Evo Sportster.
Beautiful. Dude.
So my plan now, because I've been looking at it, and I don't like it. I don't like what I've done. I put it on solid rims from a Fat Boy.
You don't like the solid rims?
The solid rims are going to stay until I do not want spokes on any of my bikes. I just found a set of mag rims for my bagger.
Dude, that's sick.
Yes.
Dude, I think the solid wheels are badass, dude.
Thank you. I'm glad. And it has a Springer.
Yes.
And that Springer's got, it's raked. Springer's, it's like a 5 over, 6 over.
Okay. Is it?
It might be a 4 over, but it looks like it might actually achieve 6 over.
Huh.
It might.
What's the rake on it, do you know?
So the thing about Springer front end, and I bought it cheap and I didn't do all, come on, man.
Yeah, what?
So the thing about a Springer is it does two things. One is this one has a longer tube on it.
Okay.
So it's over 4.6 maybe.
Okay.
But it does this really cool thing at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Is the axle goes through a there's like a fulcrum setup.
Right.
And the axle goes through the front of a lever and fulcrum.
Right, so
on
the spring is on the top. Yeah, got it.
So you've got your wheel actually 2 to 3 inches forward of your forks.
Yes. Which puts a rake on it.
It doesn't put a rake, it doesn't increase the rake.
Yeah.
What it does is it increases your wheelbase.
Yes.
So I like that.
Yeah.
I like longer wheelbase.
So you can have like a 6 over, but it looks like a 4 over because the front wheel is farther to the front.
Maybe. I'm lost in the weeds on it.
That's fine.
I actually don't know. I'm going to do something for the sake of the conversation. I think that I've had this Bluetooth on. So if you've been listening for these first few minutes and you've noticed a problem with the audio, that's because I'm going to see if it turns off or turns on. Let's see. Oh, it turned off. So there may be a better... Oh, and it stopped our recording. That's actually pretty cool. So once that's done processing, we'll restart our recording, and we'll be back on. All right. Okay, that was a little technical glitch. I had a Bluetooth headset on, peripheral. So there was probably a buzz on the first 4 minutes and 40 seconds of the official show.
Right, 6 out of 10.
Do we apologize for that?
I don't think so.
I don't think we can afford to. I mean, if we apologize for that, we're going to be on the hook for
yeah,
everything else.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I just don't think we can afford to live that way.
It's going to be a rough
My lav mic flipped upside down.
I didn't know if you did that on purpose.
It's still on yet. It's still on.
It's fine.
So, anyways.
Yes.
So, I'm going to ditch the Sportster frame that I bobbed.
Yes.
And I welded a sissy bar onto. I'm going to put that into storage. And I'm going to acquire this summer.
Yeah.
This Softail frame.
Yeah.
Bradley is like 100% wants to powder coat it.
Oh.
So at this point, I think I'm going to be getting into some tins and powder coating stuff. Maybe. I just don't want to. I want to do rust and shine juice.
I have Sportster tins. Do you have a set of Sportster tins? Or
what year was that Sportster? It was a night. Was it 90s?
2000. It was the one that I had originally was a 96, but I needed like forward controls, and I found like a huge like what do you call it? Like a pallet full of parts, and the guy wouldn't split them up.
That's cool.
You know, he was like, take all of it, and I was like, okay. So in that were actually some really nice tins, but you could definitely send them down.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Because it's going on a custom Softail for Sportster frame.
It has to be a Softail tin.
It's gonna have to have some tinning done, and honestly, that rear fender, I'm gonna build a sissy bar rear fender combo with the light at the top.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do a solid back king and queen style.
Yes.
That's gonna catch all the mud. With a short fender.
That's bold, yes.
And so we're going to let the mud
just
hit.
Fling up, yeah.
I did that on my other Sportster.
Yes.
I had a short fender that covered the motor.
As I recall, it was like a NASCAR wheel.
It was a tire.
Yeah,
it was a tire. And
yeah,
it worked
sick.
Great. And I'd do it again.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I would do it again in a heartbeat.
And the aesthetic was badass.
It was badass.
Yeah.
I had white wall and white
lettering
on it. And you looked in there and you're like, that's a tire. And I'm like, yeah. Turns out that a car tire is a great size for building a fender, an internal fender.
Yes.
Where it's usually made of plastic anyway. I mean, come on, baby.
Right.
We got this.
You can have the Mad Max lifestyle now.
And, duty now.
Right.
So, it's very likely that I'm going to want a rat style on this thing and save the money on the rear tin entirely.
Yeah.
And instead, I'm going to spend the money on an oxyacetylene setup and really spend some time bending some material. I don't know if I'm going to have it chromed. I think I'm going to just bend it, put it in place, and I'm going to wire brush and
lacquer?
I'll prime and truck bed coating.
Oh.
Yeah, spray rhino liner on it.
What if you were just bold enough?
I am bold enough.
The next bike I get, it would be cool to literally just take the paint off of it and don't treat it with anything. Just literally let it rust.
So the problem with that is 10 years down the line, you've got structural rust. Structural rust.
I just mean on the tins.
Oh, on the tins?
Yeah, let the tins.
Well, that's what I'm doing on the Softail Radder.
Sick. Just let them hole out and just rust out.
My plan on my Softail Radder, the one with the rabbit ear bars.
I know it.
My plan on that bike is to take off the tank, take off the tins. I'm going to replace the rear fender tin with a stock rear fender tin.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it wrong.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna take those tins, and so the tank and the front fender have reached the point where they're ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna clean off the bottom side of the tank, and I'm gonna put truck bed coating onto there.
Yes.
I'm gonna rhino line the bottom side of the tank.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the bottom side of the front fender. I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to run rhino liner on it too. I might actually just wire brush rust inhibitor.
Yes.
Because I don't need to know that this front fender
Yeah,
isn't going to rust.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
need
right.
that.
Yeah, right. Just hit it with WD-40 every
Just
couple months.
hide that. Well, underneath it, I'm going to put rhino liner on it, and I'm going to ignore that for the next 7 years.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to ignore the tank for the next 7 years.
Yes.
Now, the rear fender is a blue tin that I cut, and I'm going to take that. I'm not going to strip it. I'm going to find another tin, or maybe I'll strip it, because it's only like, it's like 100 square inches of surface. So I might strip that and let it rust in, and then I'll rhino line it first.
Yes.
And let it get there, and then shine juice from there on out. What is it? Boiled linseed oil and WD-40, and I don't know. You might throw another ingredient in there.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna shine juice it and keep it wet with shine juice and spray it with WD-40 when I feel conscientious. That bike, to clean that bike, I don't use any of the special pink product.
No.
I just put WD-40 on a rag and I just wipe it. And
it's probably great for it.
It probably. You know what?
It might. I really think it probably is.
I think it probably is too.
Yeah.
I probably think that.
Right.
I feel absolutely certain that that's probably true.
Yes.
And
allegedly,
that is my opinion.
Yes.
For what it's worth.
Right.
Hey, that's what you've come here for. It's the CapmLew Show. This is on it's on iTunes,
Spotify, Google Play,
Apple, Spotify, Google Play, blah blah blah. We get in here twice a week and we rap about whatever we want to.
Yeah.
And nobody's forcing you to listen, but we had 89 downloads on Friday.
86 on the 24th of February.
That's a good rate.
Some poor Europeans are coming up trying to figure out what America's doing, and they stumble across us.
We are what America's not doing. Yeah, but it's motorcycles, it's skateboarding, it's ethics. It's a less Bible than I wish we were doing. I think that people need to get back to the Bible.
I know.
I really do. It is my strong opinion that people need to get back to the Scripture. They need to get back to the Bible and seek after God. Look to the ancient ways, dear friends. Look to the ancient ways. I was thinking today about, it says in the book of Ephesians, it says, do not be drunk with wine, which is dissipation, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. And dissipation means wasting your life, wasting your time, wasting your strength on what, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, we got all these low-grade medications that we use when we feel stressed and we feel like we can't be level without them. Alcohol, weed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you've crossed a line when you get into pills.
Yes.
You have crossed a line. If you're taking pills to feel level, you have a serious, menacing, dangerous problem.
Yes.
I love you. I care about you way more than I care about your feelings. And if you have to use substances to achieve a baseline in your life, you're on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care if it's weed. I don't care if it's alcohol. I'll tell you this: once you're in the, now, I'm not talking about if your doctor prescribed you something.
That's true.
But I might be. I mean, what have we learned about doctors? I'm saying, like, if you have been prescribed like an SSRI or something like that, and you are on that med route in your life, I'd like to take just a moment to let you know that second opinions can be really good for you. This is wool.
It's hot, probably.
It's itchy.
Does it itch? Dude,
But
hate that.
at 60 miles an hour on the bagger, where the wind won't rip it off my head, screechy.
Dude, I don't like that.
That's a watch
on
cap.
My skin.
That's a watch cap. This is like sold at my. You know what? Today's show is brought to you by Northside Surplus.
Oh yeah, those guys are bad.
And by brought to you by, I mean that we are bringing you Northside Surplus as a great source for watch caps and other such sundries.
Sundries.
I buy my knives at Northside Surplus. I have several hundred knives from them. This one I didn't buy from them. This is a sweet little cleaver style. Gerbert. Really like it. I don't like to use it.
Because it's so nice.
It's so nice, and the edge on it is amazeballs. I mean, it's got some imperfection in the way they ground it. You're gonna have that. It's done by hand.
It's fine.
This side is a good grind. This side is a wobbly grind. You can tell by the light on it. I love looking at knives. So you come here for motorcycle, Bible, skateboarding, and knives, and that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Also, we're bringing to you this morning, since we are sponsor free at this point, we can say whatever we want.
Are we sponsor
whoever we
free?
want. I haven't sent our information to the one sponsor who wants to get it. And we do ride Life skateboards. Hand me down one of these guys here. We haven't done this in a minute.
These bad boys.
Life skateboards is the one that we ride, and this is the model that I enjoy. It's the Panhead XL with a 14.75 wheelbase, and it's 11 inches wide, buddies. It's 11 inches wide. I ride Indy 215 trucks with about a half-inch overhang on either side. A little less because it's got a taper to it by the time it gets out of the truck. And what is that? That's the old Fickle Skateboards graphic that we brought the font and the graphic over to Life Skateboards. And I've got 2 or 3 of my old presses are working at Life Skateboards every day.
As well.
Yes, and that made me happy that we could keep that going over there. They do what I did. They do it higher volume, and I love the work. I love riding Life Skateboards, and I'm very pleased to be associated with them. And
It's true.
so Life Skateboards. But Northside Surplus is a treasure. It's on the west side over on Harrison.
Yes, it's on Harrison.
Harrison Avenue, over in Green Township.
Green Township.
I think that's Green
Yes,
Township,
it
right
is
next to
indeed.
Cheviot in Cincinnati.
Chippewa.
Check them out. And they're right behind Jimbo's.
Dude, Jimbo's.
Jimbo's is the gym that Luke works out
It
at.
is, dude.
And it's a gym guy's gym.
It's a gym, guys. Gym.
Can you work out in boots and jeans?
I literally think that you could.
Yes!
I really think that you could.
If I could work out in boots and
Yeah.
jeans, I'd be working out every other day without stop. The only gym I can afford is the Purple Palace,
Yeah.
that which will remain unnamed.
Unnamed.
And I stopped going there because, man, I can't take it.
Yeah.
I don't like going in there. I don't like changing in there. I don't like having to change.
Yeah.
You go in my greasy jeans
Right.
and like that. Another sponsor, Tobacco Motorwear.
Oh.
We're sponsoring them today. I'm wearing
We're
a pair.
sponsoring them.
I'm wearing a pair of Tobacco Motorwear jeans. They cost like $360, and I crowdfunded the purchase of this pair, and I've hand stitched a lot of it, and it's just blown through.
Is that the Kevlar right
There's
there?
the Kevlar
Yeah.
right inside there.
Wow, very cool.
It used to be bright yellow, but it's,
Seriously?
absolutely,
It's greased out
it's
now,
greased
baby.
out. These things stand on their own because something about riding and something about wrenching and something about you just let yourself
Never washing.
let it flow.
It's fine.
Let yourself go.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Slow
stop.
and low. That is the tempo. Yes. Do you know who that is?
I feel like it's from Frozen. Please tell me it's not.
It's the Beastie Boys.
Okay, good.
Like 1989.
Dude, I just offended so many people. And I love it.
87.
I don't. Oh man.
It's beautiful.
It's so funny because I've been skateboarding for 10 years now, and I do not like punk rock music very much.
Yes.
I'm okay with the Beastie Boys, but I don't love them. I'm just not into it, man. I just don't like it.
You're not
It's
feeling
so
it.
funny, dude.
Oh, it's antisocial.
It's antisocial.
No, there's tremendous darkness of the soul involved in so much music. Absolutely, dude.
I feel like, I'm an interesting person because if I interact with something that I don't like, but then I meet somebody who really likes it and they can spend, like, sometimes I've been in conversations with friends, like, about rap music. I haven't been a big rap guy. And then I sat down with a guy and he explained to me the way that rhyme scheme worked and why he really liked rap. And now I really enjoy it.
It made you enjoy it?
I made it. So I think if somebody sat down and was like, listen, dude, this is why I really like punk music, it would probably help me.
Yep.
It's interesting that I work that way.
It
What are
would.
you doing?
I'm just looking at these.
Don't. Not on
I'm looking at
camera.
them. They're not on camera. Was that on camera?
It definitely went by the camera.
Did it?
Stop.
They're cool.
You just put it up.
They're cool.
on camera.
That's funny.
Those are Legos.
Also brought to you by Fiocchi Defense Dynamics Legos.
Legos. Yes, dude. Adult version.
For my Lego set.
Yes, right. I love it.
I'm an idiot.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Oh, that's funny.
Really close to the mic, sorry.
Are you? Yeah, I've noticed the spikes. I can't tell what the levels are. Who
It's
knows what the
fine.
audio quality is? We're very, very serious about our podcast.
Yeah, we
that's enough
certainly
about
are.
that. Last time we were together, we discussed developing in the skateboard industry, which has been in the works for decades. I mean, this is the direction the cheese was sliding off the cracker the whole time.
Yep.
folks are looking at it and going, "Oh, this is what happens when big corporations get involved in skateboarding and blah blah blah."
In correlation with Louis Barletta leaving Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Because of a corporate takeover of some sort.
Yeah, the dwindling of the industry. And we discussed publicly traded companies. And just this morning, Luke and I went over to the new Piston Society Metro Scooter opening right near my house. And we were looking at the Zero motorcycles, the electric deals.
Yes.
And we got into a conversation with a Moto Guzzi fan. He was talking about the transition of Moto Guzzi from being a town, like a community factory for decades and decades and decades, and then being bought out by Piaggio, which we saw happen with Victory and Polaris here in the United States. And you get these publicly traded companies, and they're entirely scheduled on growth.
Yeah.
People who invest in publicly traded companies get a dividend on growth. That's the predominant model. So when a company gets bought by a publicly held company,
right?
That's what's happening in skateboarding. Is publicly held companies, investment companies, are buying skateboard brands. Then that brand is saddled to growth. The companies usually have a fairly short-term goal, which is we just need to make more this year than we did last year. So whatever will give ROI now
right.
is what they're going to do.
Right.
And so they tend to do things like open accounts with Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart. You can find real skateboards in Dick's Sporting Goods and I think even Walmart now.
Can you really?
It's an interesting.
It seems like a dark.
Is it dark? It's inevitable because people are short-sighted and greedy.
Yes.
That's
true.
in skateboarding, we're dealing with an industry community that is very typical of human nature. So what I love about skateboarding is that you're dealing with dynamics of human nature.
Right.
Many of those dynamics are sad and tragic.
Right.
And they're not exactly out in the open, but if you become capable of clear thinking and you employ clear thinking,
yeah,
you will begin to be disillusioned.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. It's
Right.
painful, but you will be disillusioned.
Yes.
And that's good, because living with illusions I think we could all agree in theory that that's not great. In practice, it's quite rigorous, because now you're not going to admire much of anything about your cherished industry overlords.
Yeah.
Who work for. So anytime a skateboard brand is owned by a holding company that's publicly owned,
right,
the cracker has tilted, the cheese is sliding, and it won't be long until the dumbest and worst decisions for authenticity,
yeah,
for customer service,
right,
for really being what they maybe pretended to be from the beginning. Most of them were imposters from the beginning, by the way. Pretending they cared about the skateboarding industry by what? By buying Chinese-made factory pablum garbage decks with heat stickers with antisocial messages that are, we're going to get you hurt in the mental sphere and the physical sphere. I look at that and I'm so not sorry to say.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's garbage. Dude, my levels are so low. I think that I've compromised my levels.
Dog.
You think so? Sound check. 2, 2, 2.
It's hard to tell.
Dude, I'm not seeing anything off my mic.
Let me see. Is it lit up?
Here,
right?
you be quiet. Yeah, let me see. 2. Yeah, it's there, but it's low.
But they don't have any. They show a graph, but there's no delineation of. There's no metric of noise. It's not
Very
like they have a
interesting.
range.
Here, I think that our audience deserves at least a sneak peek of what it looks like. All right, so there it is. It just keeps going like that.
It's high tech.
I'm glad that at least YouTube and Facebook are enjoying
Yes.
good enough audio quality.
Yes.
Thanks, Luke. That was fine.
Yes.
Anyways, the problem for all this is that it's really tough on the skateboarder who is a hedonistic Epicurean who just wants to who just wants to enjoy themselves and escape from like having to think like an adult, and
Right.
then all of a sudden, you know, they have these tremendously strong nostalgic feelings about these brands. But oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
This has been fake and garbage since a long time ago, and we were young, and we maybe had some sense of preferring to believe that this was some sort of noble, you know, like group of people who run
Right.
these things, and the very best among them are just hanging on for dear life,
Right.
pretending authenticity, while really it's been a corporate money grab the entire time. And is that really a problem? Is it really a problem that it was a corporate money grab the whole time?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, what would entice or what would make a person begin to care about this at all?
Well,
You know?
that's a great question. I cared.
Yeah,
I cared.
but your reasoning was based in a like in a set of moral values that you have that
Well,
will push you into caring. Would you say that's true?
I don't like being accused of having moral values. I resent the insinuation that I have high moral values. I'm
Yeah,
very
well.
similar to other people in some ways.
Yeah.
But the thing about me was, I looked at it and I said, well, I don't like garbage. I don't like garbage. I don't like garbage products, and I don't like garbage culture.
Yeah.
And I don't believe the ad line, we offer the highest quality products available on the market today, quote unquote.
Right.
That's what the industry was saying to me. We offer the highest quality product available on the market today.
Right.
Well, that's not saying a lot when I'm watching kids break the nose off their board on a 360 flip, first rip out of the skate shop, going right back in, buying another board from the brand they trusted.
Right.
And them saying, oh, it's that deluxe wood, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And okay, so it's that deluxe wood. It's supposed to last. Why? Deluxe is sold by Generator, made by Bareback. It's made in the multiple tens of thousands of boards. It's a garbage process. No, oh, Deluxe, I love Deluxe. Well, you know, I kind of love Deluxe too for some reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I could watch Destination Unknown Antihero on repeat. Absolutely.
Yes.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, 100%.
To so many things there.
Yeah.
There's so many things I'm not saying, but the boards are garbage.
Yeah.
So what? I mean,
Right.
if you want to ride that, then you're going to do the smart thing.
Right.
You're going to buy 4 at a time. One of them might be better than the others. And then you can declare that they're all great because one would. But some of them are going to snap, some are going to chip, some are going to de-lam.
Yeah.
And you know what? So far you've been happy.
Right.
And good for you.
Right.
But I didn't like that.
Right.
I didn't like that at all. So what I did was, I said, well, then I'm going to start a brand. And my brand is going to be made in Pennsylvania, where I can trust them
Yeah.
to a higher degree of quality and accountability, because I'm going to drive 10 hours in a day, go to Pennsylvania, pick up the wood, you know, it's like 4.5 hours over and 4.5 hours back. And it was time well spent for me every month
Right.
to go to Pennsylvania, high five the guys making my boards, check out what they're doing, skate their ramp, which was, they've moved a bunch of stuff onto the ramp, so you couldn't do that anymore.
Of course, it's fine.
I could bring my team with me.
Yeah.
They were even kind enough to let us apply heat transfers to our own boards, which I could hear because we had a deeper concave than it. We could hear the laminate cracking in the heat transfer machine
Yeah.
under that, and just see. And I had a secret plan, which was not secret. I told them up front that I'm going to build a press. I'm going to start making a line of boards that's like pressed by us. And they said to me straight up, day one, they said, the minute you make the day you make your first board, we're done with you.
Wow.
And it was a very unfriendly attitude.
Yeah.
It was unfriendly. I found it to be less than congenial.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I appreciated the forthrightness of it. I'm a Northeasterner myself, and
Yeah.
I appreciate
At least
the
it was honest.
forthrightness.
Right.
So I went for a year, got a phone call and the marketing that we did was really different. Now it's very common, but we did it very differently. We were not skating at you, we were skating with you. We weren't saying you should sit down because we're better than you. We were saying, you know, don't buy our boards because we're better than you. And I had great riders.
Yeah.
I had
Shredders.
great riders.
Yeah.
But I said, you shouldn't buy our boards because we're better than you. You should buy our boards because they're better boards. I brought the board quality into the marketing equation, and literally was told that it went out on the wire here regionally that you don't talk about board quality, you know. And I even played some jokes. I mean, they were really, at that point, they were really meant in good humor.
Right.
I started packing a used board from the corpos on top of the board we were selling. I would shrink wrap it all together with a sticker pack and ramen noodles.
Yes. I remember. Yeah.
And put that in the skate shop. And so people got a used factory board. Well, one of those factory boards was from a brand, the owner of which was really angry about that. And I was like, that's a choice you made to be really angry, because that was just funny. From a small startup, little tiny company, just messing around. Of course, we're going to poke you.
Right.
Give me a break,
Come on, dude.
Calm
right.
down,
Yeah. I mean, isn't that just more helpful for them to get more of their boards out into the market? I don't understand.
I don't know, man. Like, people just so tight-wound and so, like, crazy about it. Yeah, that was one of those unforgivable things I've done in the past.
Yeah.
Just so, if you're that easy to offend, then something's wrong with you.
Straight up.
And you take it from a guy who's discovered that there's something wrong with me. If you got something wrong with you, I know a guy who can fix you right up.
Yeah.
He happens to be the son of the Almighty, one in nature.
Good guys.
Yeah, and he's got the fix for you, man. I don't know what you've been told or who's sold you a line of business on American religion tip, but this Jesus guy is really where it's at. And if you find yourself wanting to kill a dude because he did a little bit of spoofing on you, you probably need to get in touch with the Almighty and get some of your stuff hammered out.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what a person goes through that could make them so quick to violence and anger over such things as just the stuff of this world.
Yeah.
Because really bad things happen when violence happens. It shouldn't be in any way a part of the professional conversation. It should not be.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's really sad that people would hold skateboarding to such a intrinsic level of value in their life that for a person to say, "Oh yeah, I think my boards are better than yours," would equate to literally a death threat, like literally court record death threats and violence, and I'll fucking kill you at a bar, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, please. I'm sorry your dad didn't hug you enough. You got to go talk to somebody about this.
And we actually really are.
Yeah,
we understand,
I actually am.
We understand how deep the wounds go.
Absolutely.
Great band name from that explosion of scene bands, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. That was a great band name.
That was literally a band, Scary Kids.
Scary Kids, Scaring Kids.
Yeah, dude.
Well, hurting people hurt people.
Yeah, it's true.
So when someone's hurting you, it's really tough, because it's quite rigorous to be hurt by another person.
Yeah.
Especially, not the teeth.
Oh.
Not the face. Okay, not the face,
Not the teeth.
But when you're getting hurt by other people, whether it's publicly shamed, social media shamed, that's very, very damaging. Or it's out and out assault. Surround a guy with 14 of your friends and then challenge him to a match of fisticuffs among 14 people who would love to see this small brand board guy get completely put in the hospital today.
Over what?
What I mean? I had embarrassed a San Francisco backed brand owner whose brand was featured on ESPN2, and he had all this clout in the industry and a great big reputation for being a tough guy over the years, EMB and whatnot. And I had embarrassed him, and he said, "If you don't stop embarrassing me, I'm going to come and I'm going to kill you at your house." That's the kind of thing.
I'm just so astounded to this day, because the things that you were saying were so gentle. They weren't even aggressive. No. You know what I mean?
No,
it was the most light touch ever.
It was light touch, but it was a menace to legacy, because the fact is that the emperor is wearing no clothes.
Yeah.
Your heroes are not.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to enjoy Steve Caballero and Lance Mountain and that.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
And also, when I saw that it was this way, I built presses. Right? And everyone told me I couldn't do it. I called up board makers, and they were like, "You're never going to get it right." And I called one. He's like, "I'll fly there. I'll teach you how to make boards." and you're going to hate it, and you're going to stop doing it. You're going to see that you need to leave it to us.
Wow.
And that was the most positive interaction I had, except for one Bud Stratford. To this day, I have not ascertained whether Bud has pressed boards himself. He ran a board. Ran a board company in the '90s.
Yeah.
And he had his boards made down south by Adkins at South Central.
Nice.
And
what was his board brand name? Do you know?
the Cleveland Superboard Factory.
that was the brand name.
Bud Stratford.
That's sick, dude.
Oh my gosh. How could you not love the guy?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was in Indiana at the time.
Yeah.
So he was like an hour and a half away from me.
Where did he live?
He lived up near Indianapolis.
Oh, I did not know
area.
that.
Yeah. And he would come down and just encourage me.
That's awesome.
He gave me my first caliper for measuring. The one I used down there is from Bud Stratford.
Dude, what a
I
gift.
do believe Bud gifted me some other tools as well, or was with me when I was, before I had an inflatable drum sander.
Yeah.
I was making my boards and edging them with a belt sander.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's rough.
very, very rough edges, and then sanding them with a sponge until they were good enough.
Sure.
And I mean, rough process, really. Yeah. And I wound up breaking down and buying for $1,400 an American-made Sandrite unit, and it was the most expensive single purchase outside of wood and glue that I made. And
that's the one that's downstairs.
No regrets, man. That is a great unit.
Regrets.
And no regrets, but we will have rugrats.
Rugrats.
We are. I'm looking forward to my first grandchild this year, and Luke and his lady are expecting their first kid
very soon.
But yeah, the encouragement of Bud Stratford made a huge difference in in those days. Being encouraging, and so I settled into. Also had a friend of mine who proposed the H stand that I do with the 2 Harbor Freights.
Yeah.
He proposed that, and I actually told him that will not work.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah. I told him, because of everything I'd been told. I was told that you cannot have anything but a single ram that comes down all at once. You can't have two jacks that come down, this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. You can't do it. It cannot be done that way. You have to fabricate an entire thing.
Dude.
And that design, my friend Britt told me that was his idea. It was
awesome.
Britt.
Yes.
He said, do it this way.
Yeah.
And I was freaked when I did my first pressing.
It totally worked.
And it worked extremely well. And I can press anything from a 15-inch board, little tiny penny cruisers, by moving them together. And I can move them out, and I can do 50-inch long boards. Yeah. And the triangulation of force degradation on the unit, and it was so much. The boards were so indestructible.
That's awesome.
Just because the glue was applied conscientiously. Yeah. It wasn't just layered on. Yeah. It was smeared in. Yeah. By the roller. Yeah. Into all of the warp and woof of an actual piece. Doesn't have to be sanded down before it's put in. You get the full thickness of the ply. Yeah. You get really good glue application. You get really good long pressing bond in the press for very little relax when it comes out. Yeah. And then you get a long cure time afterward, and these things just were. They weren't, some of them heavier than others. Yeah. But the main product I fell into in year 3 was a 9-inch wide, was lighter than the industry standard 8-inch board. An inch longer, an inch wider, and I had an engineer from Toyota who weighed them and did an analysis on it, and he was like, "You're not going to believe this. Your 9-inch is lighter than this 8-inch." And the 8-inch was actually from Dwindle.
Yeah, there you go.
And I thought, well, don't retest it.
Yeah.
Don't do any more testing. Yeah. You're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll just do it once.
But that's when I saw what happens when corporations get involved. I made my own workshop, but I didn't only make my own workshop. I also open sourced all that tech Now, I don't think that I invented the H-stand setup.
Sure.
I think other people were doing it, but my friend Britt was the one who got me to try it. There's not a single thing I did that was just my idea and like that. I was discovering through good friendship and through people who love and help me.
Yeah.
So there's really no giant credit to be had. But the brainwave I had was to open source it. That way the big boys can't patent it. They can pen a patent on a thing, and then they'll sue you, and you need 40 to 60 grand to defend the patent in whatever state they're going to lodge the patent claim in.
Of course.
And that kind of money was not there. I had $500 at a time.
Right.
You know, meanwhile I was slandered locally as having embezzled 50 grand to start my business. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. They could say anything they want. The truth hasn't even laced its boots by the time a lie has made it around the whole globe. You know, really living that out.
Yeah.
And so after, from 2009, building the press, 2010, first boards out of the press, late in 2010. 2011, first boards going out, refining the process. 2012, you're beginning to really see these things everywhere locally. 2013, first death threats.
Oh, yeah.
First public shaming.
Yeah.
2014, first open air, not the first assault, but the first open air group assault.
Yeah.
And the person who did it could have been held back by their sponsoring distro, Easy.
Sure.
Their distro is in touch with every single thing they do, but their San Francisco sponsoring company distro head woogity woogs of the thing, instead of putting a hand on him and saying, dude, you need to apologize and back off of this.
Right.
The guy wound up having to go to court in 2013, then back in court in 2014 and get a restraining order, which I reduced, which he broke. Because Johnny Law ain't gonna help you. You put it on the books, so that if/when something happens, it's on the books and you can defend a civil case.
Yes.
It sucks.
It does.
And you need to do that.
I do wonder if that guy's corporate sponsors were trying to make space from him, and maybe that doesn't.
They still sell his board.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They still sell his board.
Yeah, that's right.
They're happy to sell product with that legacy.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Legacy of dissipation.
Yeah.
We started with that word that
like
don't be drunk with wine, which is dissipation, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. Really, there's way more to this life, well beyond the seen realm, and that's I've got a certain kind of love for the people involved, but this industry, if you go in there and you do it differently, there's a place for you if you play ball. But I didn't play ball.
Yeah.
I open sourced it and said, this is better.
Yeah.
This is better in terms of, and Life Skateboards embodies this. This is better in terms of what it means to have a board that's made by people who ride skateboards and who you call, and you're talking to the hands that made your board. This is so valuable.
Yeah.
And if there's anything wrong, and there's always going to be problems, but when there's a problem, you've got a human being that you're dealing with, and then you can evaluate how it goes from there. What good is it to me if I'm riding something that snaps 20 minutes or has an internal DLAM and goes and loses all of its resilience and stiffness, and then they say, let us send you another one. I don't want another one.
Right.
That's good. That's actually good.
Yeah, but that doesn't even happen.
But I get another thing that when I call someone, what if I break that one? I know what happens if you break that one. You know what happens when you break your second one?
Oh, you should land on both.
That's right. They blame the customer. And even locally, we had a brand owner here locally who's affiliated with the big boys, and he's an extension of the big boys here. He carries their reputation. He carries their gravitas. And he had a kid who snapped a board right off the bat, and the kid posted it up on Instagram and said, this was crap. I'm bummed on this.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not going to replace that board unless you pull down your post.
Wow.
And there's language behind language.
Yes.
And the reputation that this guy carries is one people don't want to cross him.
Right.
Otherwise, they might get surrounded at a skate park.
Right.
And challenged to a match of fisticuffs well into our 40s.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. And
or more likely just lose some sort of clout inside of the community. You'll be a pariah,
A
which
shit
is so
talker.
much more painful.
You're right.
Yeah.
You'll be badmouthed and publicly
Right.
shamed
Right.
as a shit talker.
Right.
When really what you were doing was talking about
The
this
shit.
manure
Yeah, right.
that's being passed off as authenticity and,
Right.
and being passed off as a brand that's supposed to maybe care about you or some sort of
Right.
no.
We're all family until it's time to do family stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. So I really, I had such a snoot full of this. By 2019, I had orders coming in from all over the world, but my heart wasn't in it anymore.
Yeah.
Because here locally, I had people come to me all the time, secretly, and tell me, "Man, thanks for everything you're doing for the skateboarding community. You're speaking up about things that are really important to speak up about." And I'm like, "Where are you, man?
Yeah. What's the deal?
Where are you? Why are you so quiet? Why, if you really think that that's important, why aren't you saying something, man? It's on you." I'm not really very, I don't need you to tell me that you like what I'm doing. I'm talking about these things because we need to change them. And board companies, even the corporate structure, but the ambition of a board maker is somewhere between 40 and 100 grand a year, depending on the model they're using. And in California terms, that's nothing. That's not even anything. It doesn't come with benefits. There's no medical, no dental.
Yeah.
But board makers are literally choosing to serve you skateboard wood instead of going and getting a corporate job with benefits and all those things.
Right.
They're choosing that. And the mainstream gets to shoot whatever fiery darts they want to at them.
Right.
I think that all of you should lose a lot of respect for your industry.
Yeah.
Especially those of you who are going to go and noise around about corporations ruining skateboarding. I'm sorry. Where isn't that the case? Oh, Life Skateboards, Fickle Skateboards, Midwest Blue Collar.
Right.
We've got... just because they're a craft-made skateboard company does not mean they're going to treat you ethically. You need to watch out. There are some snakes in the grass everywhere you go, so keep a stick on you.
Right.
Johnny Manak, Manak Skates. I think that there's a high likelihood that Johnny Manak is a good faith player.
Yeah.
He does play well with others, and he lives over in California where he's surrounded by. But I have a feeling that when you're in California, there's so many people making money hand over fist. They don't care about your little 40 board a month, 100 board a month operation. I don't think they really care.
Right.
And I don't think that they necessarily recognize that if there were 1,000 small workshops and serious skateboarders who love good wood,
right.
If there were brands that were advertising and actually investing into our sense of what is a good quality skateboard, show me any real advertising in our industry that actually calls out garbage quality. It's very, very sparse.
I don't even know if I haven't seen that in forever.
Show me a brand in Thrasher magazine that would market like I would and say, "Hey, I think that our boards are much better. Here's why. Because we make them.
Yeah.
And we're on the hook personally at the reputation level for how they skate. So if you like the concaves we offer, then we're your guys." By the way, a Thrasher ad is 15 grand. So that's not going to happen.
Right.
But actually with Midwest Blue Collar and Fickle, I was looking at getting a Thrasher ad.
That would have been sick.
Back channels inform me, and this could be inaccurate, but back channels inform me that was never going to happen. You were never going to be able to go into Thrasher. This is, by the way, this is rumor.
Yeah.
So this is not necessarily true, but I received an impression from people I thought were dependable that they're never going to run a craft-made skateboard brand in Thrasher because there's a kibosh on that at that level. They don't want someone to come up there and say, all of a sudden reinvent what the highest quality board is. There's a reason they never talk about board quality, and that's not going to be like a thing. I advertised in Concrete Wave way back, and I advertised in Confusion magazine, and I Concrete Wave was a joy because you had all kinds of people buying skateboards through Concrete Wave. Confusion Magazine was. It always bums me out when independent media toes the line too closely to the corporate company line. We went through the Jake Phelps thing.
Yeah.
And my biggest bone to pick with corporate stuff isn't that it shuts down and ruins brands. The biggest problem I have is that they so unabashedly capitalize on the stuff that killed Jake. That's what bothers me about corporate involvement and investment, is their focus on ROI does not address the most important authenticities, which are taking care of humans, each other, like should not be that way. Right. And I find that whole thing very, very troubling. And it bothers me to see people of high conscience who are offended at just the financial outworkings of it, who fail to recognize the very sinister nature of the social outworkings of it. And that continues to be really problematic.
Yeah, I mean, just because
at least
a business is big and publicly traded doesn't mean that I'm just anti that automatically. I think there's a lot of that going on, but unfortunately, I think that their business metric, you know, for success being growth and only growth, just ROI does not promote the best types of values for the company.
It's going to make it hard for them to pivot away from, it's going to make it hard for them to pivot away from the antisocial cash grab, juvenile. Right. You know, like it seems like it's a good-natured juvenile transgressiveness. Yeah. Except that I have dead friends now. Yeah. And that pivot away from that can be done. Yes. Advertising can work and function. Right. But it doesn't happen. Yeah. Because that cash grab is still flowing, you know, so much money that they're like, I heard this about cancer. When someone I love died of cancer, they said cancer follows the bloodstream. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I'm not an oncologist. I just play one on TV. They killed a tumor out of this person by cutting off bloodstream. Oh. They went and cauterized bloodstream to an area of an organ, and the cancer shrunk down.
Yeah, but isn't that going to kill the organ too?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You get to that state. You get to that state, and you're like, you know what?
Just do it. I don't need a liver. It's fine.
It was or a prostate. It was the kidney at the time. That one was a kidney. Okay. I don't know about that, but I do know that the social cancers that plague our generation, whether it's in skateboarding or other areas, they tend to follow the stream of money. Yeah. And there are other streams, and you know there's such a thing as doing well by doing what's good. Yeah. But that's not where their thinking is at. Right. It's thinking that's the problem in the skateboarding industry. Right. And they're just operating by conventions of economy that are just, they aren't conducive to good value for skateboarders, good inspiration. And I'm not even talking about the nerfing of skateboarding. I don't want skateboarding to get rid of heavy metal and freedom of expression and transgressive art. I don't want that. That's not going to please me. Like, no. I'm talking about, like, companies ought to rise or fall based on whether they make a simple profit after paying the people who work there. They shouldn't be ball and chained to giant corporations that require more profit every year forever. Right. That is a hamster wheel that just kills your hamster, dude. Yeah. Yeah. You know, don't just put cocaine water in their water bottle and put them on a hamster wheel, and that's what you're doing. Yeah. That's what's happening in skateboarding. We did that to hamsters.
Poor guys.
I'm saying.
Maybe they loved it. I don't know.
Well,
could you imagine being a hamster on coke?
Everyone who's on coke at some point realizes that this isn't fun anymore. Yeah, right. There's a threshold that one crosses and decides.
I've decided to believe in this moment that hamsters don't think that critically, and they just enjoyed it. Because I care about little animals, so they're probably having a great time. It's fine.
Yeah, but you and I just learned that crows and wolves
Are buddies.
actually become friends.
Yeah, they're buddies. I like that a lot.
We
It makes me feel
learned that
happy.
today.
Yeah.
That crows and wolves actually work together.
Yeah.
The crows will tell the wolves where a good vulnerable group of animals are.
Yeah.
The crows will tell the wolves. They'll actually go to the wolves.
Yeah, but
and
yo,
go.
dude.
They'll say caw 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 caw.
Translated. Hey guys, there's stuff over here.
And then the wolves will go and they will get
Yeah.
it. And the wolves will actually shred the meat with their mouths
Yes.
and throw it to the side for the crows.
It's so sick.
And then we found out that crows will actually bond with baby wolves,
Yeah.
play games with them,
Yeah.
even with a stick on purpose,
Yeah, to play tug of war.
to play tug of war with the baby wolves. And then just, you know what?
That's cool, man.
So,
I want a pet crow now.
that's why your baby hamster friend is, and he's screwed.
Yeah, dude, you're done, dog.
You're done.
Yeah.
Your argument, all your base are belong to us.
Gosh, dude.
So,
It's interesting because, you know, my principles lead me to think that currently our form of economics being manifested in capitalism is the best way to go. Not that it's a good way, but it seems to be the most equitable.
there is no utopia.
Yeah, there is no utopia.
That's
it's just
right.
the best thing that we got. So I'm looking at all this. So there's a part of me that says, well, you know, these big boys are filling up into the market, and people are buying it. That we're doing it. We're
Yes.
feeding the beast. Like this is on us.
That's right.
You know, that's
right.
That's the thing. It's like if you wanna say, you know, corporations are ruining skateboarding.
Then buy a Life skateboard. Buy a
Yeah,
Manac
right.
skateboard.
Or start something.
buy a Gluefoot.
Right.
From I think he's in St. Louis area.
Right.
Buy a Gluefoot. Buy a Life. Go on the Makers Movement.
Right.
And ask those brands on that Facebook group. You know, you don't have to join the Makers Movement to be able to ask questions
Yeah,
and look
right.
at everything on
Comment,
there.
yeah.
If you don't answer the questions to my satisfaction, you're not in.
Right.
All right.
But you
You're
can
not going to
still
be allowed
be
to
in.
post on
Right.
the Makers Movement if you're
Right.
not making skateboards. Come
Right.
on, it's in the pinned post.
You're so
Right.
mean.
But go on there, connect with some of these brands, and buy their stuff.
Right.
When you find one that makes a concave you like and pockets it right and gets it right for you,
Right.
or you find one that gets it wrong for you and then makes it right for you,
Right.
you have found a friend in skateboarding that's worth far more than whatever pro skateboarder who skated better than you when you were a kid, and you loyally buy their product and you swear by it. Pandemic. Yes, Pandemic is on there. You know, go and find a maker and see. Chris Gobert, I don't think he's in the Makers Movement, but he is a great skateboard maker out in Arizona. Go buy boards from Chris. Go
Yeah.
buy boards from a maker and get off this corporate tit.
Yeah.
Quit sucking on the corporate tit and go out there and be a grown-up little piggy. You know? Grow some tusks.
Yeah.
Forage. I don't
Right.
know.
Forage. Go
Grow
forage.
a bristly winter coat. Be one of those Canadian.
Insano cocaine.
Did you hear
bands.
about the cocaine bear pigs that are coming down from Canada?
It's so sick.
Their hard winter pigs are coming down from Canada and they're destroying everything.
Dude, I know a guy who is from Texas, and the pigs down there, it's like epidemic.
No,
It's insane.
You think you're going to grow soybeans this year?
No, you're not.
Guess what?
Right.
No, you're not.
Right.
They're all gone. Your
Right.
entire crop is gone.
Yes.
All your seed investment is gone.
Yeah, it sucks.
And if the federal government weren't paying you not to farm, you'd be making no money farming.
100%.
I mean, it is free meat.
Those boys go out and they'll kill like 25, 30 of them. And it's
A
like
day.
doesn't even put a dent
No,
in it. It's
because they
insane.
reproduce at an insane rate.
Yeah.
They're able to live in areas where
Yes.
you're not going to be able to just get on what a Kawasaki
You-
mule.
yeah, right,
You're not going to
whatever
be able to
it is, right.
Kawasaki mule your
Yeah.
way out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's over, dude.
I think they have multiple litters every year, and it's like 12 to 15. It's completely nuts. It's nuts, dude.
I
It's
think
nuts.
they have about 20 babies a year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And it's free meat. The deer are getting prion diseases.
Oh, yeah.
So chronic wasting disease is mad cow for deer. Everyone
Right.
doesn't want to say it. We'll probably get banned for this because it does break federal law for me to. It's not an official food crop. So if I said it about cows, I would be breaking federal law.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Free speech.
heavy law on the books about talking about the food supply in a way that will disturb people. Yes, it's illegal in America to speak against the food supply.
How is that not a break from the First Amendment?
It
I'm
is.
so confused.
It is. It is a break from the First Amendment.
Oh, you
But
sweet,
until you
sweet
have a
silver
Bundy
child.
Brothers standoff about it, nothing's going to get done.
Bro.
And Lavoy Finicum had to die for that.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, he
That
was gunned
sucks.
down. Yeah, Lavoy Finicum, oh my gosh, it's no joke.
Yeah, The Matrix was a documentary, dog.
It's actually true.
Yeah,
And
that's rough.
when we make these podcasts, I'm not sure that I won't be gunned down. I'm not sure that they won't show up at my house when we make these podcasts. I'm not sure that we won't step on enough toes that there will be an accident at a skate park
Yeah.
on behalf of me saying these things. I don't go skate and just enjoy being at a skate park at all
Right.
anymore,
Right.
knowing that the skateboarding community will happily enjoy their social, plug-in,
Right.
and they'll happily keep their social status
Right.
in the skateboarding community, knowing that a guy speaks out like this about the industry,
Yeah.
and then he's the subject of defamation, public shaming, death threats, assaults, open air.
Yeah.
And there's zero. It's not like anyone, not like any skate shop saw that happening and said, we can't have this. Your boards are off the wall until you make it right.
Yeah.
And I'm always ready to reconcile with anyone who has that sort of problem with me. I care about your life. I care about your what you're going through. The people who've done this to me, I love you. I care about you because the God who loves you died for you on the cross, opened the gates for you, and all I want is for you to come through. That's all I want.
Straight up.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that before reconciliation there might not be more rough water, and I'm still saying this because it's more important to me for people to grow and to learn and to think more deeply about the daily things of life than it is for me to be well accepted in a community that's willing to throw a guy that far under the bus
Yeah.
just like that.
Right.
Obviously there's no value in being respected by skate shop owners.
Yeah.
There's no value at all. As nice as some of these skate shop owners are in my area, I hold no value to whatever positive thing they may say against me or about me.
Sure.
Right now they've shifted to saying nice things about me.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah,
Right.
and I'm like, well,
Where was this too?
so
3
do
years
I
ago,
not get beat up at the spot? No,
Right.
you get beat up at the spot.
Right.
Absolutely.
We just think you're a great guy.
Yeah,
Right.
we just respect,
Right.
we respect some of the things you say. Yeah,
Right.
but you only say that to me. You never
Yeah.
say it when I'm getting publicly shamed online. You never say it that way.
Right.
But that's how it is.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I'm happy. It hurts, but I'm happy.
I keep on thinking as we're having this conversation about, there really is a price to be paid to be a man, to have character, to be a person of integrity, to look at something that you think is wrong and to do something different about it, And the media and the movies that we watch, it's easy to think it's going to be like The Lord of the Rings instead of like 13 Assassins. I just finished watching that movie last night. Have you ever seen it? It's all in Japanese.
I think I did.
It's 13 samurai against like 200 dudes because they're gonna kill a warlord.
That's
who's
right.
to
I have seen
TOS,
that. Yeah.
and they all die, all of them. And,
Yes.
and the one guy that survives, he's like, you could tell the guy is like totally screwed. Like he's scarred for life. Like ain't nobody getting out of this clean. Nikola Tesla died in a gutter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is the
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. This is the price to be paid for being a man, for actually standing up and saying something, doing something.
Dwight Eisenhower warned us about this. Dwight Eisenhower warned us about exactly where we are today. This was his nightmare.
Did he say something specific that you're thinking about?
Well, he talked about the rise of the military-industrial complex and the tremendous threat to liberty that it posed.
Dude, the NSA is on us now, dude.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I said
that's
Eisenhower.
true.
Eisenhower. I said Eisenhower on a plane.
He said ISIS. Dude, oh man, that's so funny. That is so funny. I have a friend at work. We used to be owned by a company that sounded like the word ISIS.
Yeah.
And he was on the phone with a client, was like giving his email, and he said, yeah, I'm blah blah at ISIS group instead of the other word. And we laughed about that for days and days because he's on an NSA watch list now. It's completely insane.
It is a it's beginning to be a wild time for all of Western society, the whole world.
Yeah,
it's really going up.
What's crazy is, if you think skateboarding is insane, read the Patriot Act. You know what I mean? Like, look at what is happening. This is literally tip of the iceberg. This is baby stuff compared to the things that really, really matter.
That's one of, dear listeners, one of our intentions through this podcast was to introduce thought lines to you guys in the delivery package of discussing our skateboarding industry. One idea that we really want to promote is that we should all take a greater consideration of what happened in history around the Son of God, the Son of Man.
Yeah.
We should all consider more deeply the claim that has been laid on us all and the responsibility to consider our mortality and the destination of our immortality.
Yeah.
Another idea is that the human seen realm concept of liberty is it's like a candle flame, and it can go out, and it has to be tended, and it hasn't been. That in a time of fatness and richness, people have become tremendously lazy and incurious, and have allowed such higher concepts as liberty and justice and truth to be abused and fall into such misuse of their own minds that they are out of shape to flex the muscles it takes to deal with some of the awful things that wouldn't be going on as much if we were a thinking and caring people. And I am more than happy for some of the circumstances of my life to be part of your awakening. I'm more than happy to have gone through some things. It would make me happier if it helped all of us to see some things that we really ought to look at, but I think most people would rather ignore.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, it's a thin-skinned bubble.
Yeah.
And it appears to me that we are entering into that period of human history described in Matthew chapter 24. Jesus said, this is the beginning of birth pangs. Birth pangs come with greater frequency, greater intensity. I do think that we are in the beginning of the end of human history. But the urgency, I feel, isn't fueled by that. It's fueled by the continuingly demonstrated reality. You could be dead in a breath. And I don't want you to die without having really taken your shot to grasp the significance of the man from Galilee. He came, he lived, he died, he rose again, and all of it according to the ancient scriptures. It was foretold. It is absolutely solidly evidenced, compellingly evidenced in reasoning history. This is not a blind faith that people engage at the expense of their intellect. This is a very, very well evidenced conclusion based on historical events that, refute it. Get to work.
Go ahead.
If you want to ignore the Son of God, get to work, friend. Otherwise, you have no integrity. Period. Get on it. And disprove it. Once you disprove it, then I get to party. I get to party and steal and kill and murder my way through whatever I want. I get to take whatever I want. If this isn't true, I'm wasting my time. I should have kicked asses and taken names a long time ago. I should have shut that shit down. And, I should have...
lock those fools in line.
They FA'd, but they didn't FO.
Right.
And maybe if you can disprove the resurrection of Jesus and his significance in the history of mankind, then maybe some of these people get to FO. I have a suspicion though that when you engage this, that the same thing will happen to you that happened to so many others.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
You're going to see these things are true.
Yeah.
So I offer that without apology.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't come here for religion.
I'm like, yeah, well,
not sorry, not sorry. Especially from skateboarding fools.
Yeah.
Oh, hashtag thank you skateboarding. You think that's not a religion?
Yeah.
That's just a retarded child's god. You know, like, I mean that in the way that we mean it in the Northeast back in the 80s, which is not,
right.
that's not offensive.
Yeah, it's not offensive. Right.
If you're offended, that offends me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, you think that's a bad word because you obviously don't respect people.
Right.
Obviously.
You identify as a New Yorker from like 1982.
Yeah, because I am a New Yorker from 1982. I don't get it. Where did you guys miss the memo?
Yeah.
Something, TikTok, something, Gen X, TikTok, something.
Something, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that lit.
I always ruin it. It's fine.
You bastard.
Well, I've already been
I love
publicly shamed enough to be used to it. Get on it, guys.
Yeah.
Shut me down.
Dude, somebody did get on our Instagram the other day. I wasn't going to tell you about it because I didn't want to bum you out, but he was like, that beard is disgusting. Did you see that?
Absolutely disgusting.
I wanted to respond, but I decided against it. It was just such a strange comment.
You know, that didn't bum me out.
Good.
Actually, I
kind of rejuvenated your spirit a little
I'm kind
bit.
of okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That beard is disgusting is nothing.
Yeah, you're like, cool.
I prefer that one to the one that accused me of bullying children through our podcast. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah, that one.
That's
was
great.
rough, yes.
Accuse me of bullying children.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes, that's
That's
exactly
great.
what we were doing. You got it, buddy.
Well, shout out to Aaron Cairo, who has started teaching kids how to carve this year.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it
seriously.
really is.
I
Teaching
like that
kids how to
stuff.
carve and push around in Tik-Tok. Yeah, I cannot stand that Scientology garbage, but I definitely like when you teach a kid to carve on a skateboard. It'd be interesting if he did it, because I've been made fun of openly on the Braille.
Have
thing.
you?
Yeah, bearded skateboard maker was a term that got thrown around during one of their sessions, and they didn't edit it out.
I'm kind of honored.
Yeah, they were. It was lovely. That was years ago.
Yeah.
So I know the ripples reach.
Yes.
For what it's worth. Well, this has been a good chat. We've logged in a nice 70-minute episode here. It's a time for a word from our sponsors. You got to have at least twice a show.
That's fine. I'm so traumatized after the Huxtable.
I thought
We had one episode. Somebody's gonna have to find it, but it was
I think I
never
did
ending.
it 6 times.
Yeah, it was so many, and every single time I thought it was over, it wasn't over. It was so traumatic.
We'll be back. You know, so we're gonna shift gears and talk about the podcast for the last whatever it is.
Yeah.
Talking about the podcast is a bummer. You guys don't want to hear people on a podcast talk about their podcast, so this is a great time to go on to the next episode. If you're listening backward, that's the best way to listen. Just go back.
Oh, that's actually smart.
When there's a part 1, part 2, you want to listen to part 1, then a part 2. I mean, you guys
Do what you want, man.
Yeah, listen to it however you want to. The first 10 episodes are garbage. Oh, except for when we told our stories.
And those are up.
Those are up.
Those are up somewhere.
And those are like episode 3 through 7
or something. Yeah. Probably later.
But a podcast is a weird thing. We put a lot of effort into doing a podcast, even though we have low tech and like that. We are not the kind of guys that feel the need for the affirmation of like a nice studio setup and things like that. Except that I think we could do this every day.
Yep.
And I think that there is enough to talk about out there that we could really get down to business. We haven't really settled out on, how to promote the podcast. So we've done none of that. Virtually no promotion. We established a YouTube,
Yes.
a Tik-Tok,
Yes.
and Instagram.
Yeah.
So those are there. But we don't do very much with them because that's full-time work.
It is.
That puts Luke working every day.
Probably 4 hours a day to get all that
Curating.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm even behind on getting episodes up on YouTube. It's on my to-do list.
Yep. And so we see that the podcast is, we have aspirations for the podcast to be much more significant in our lifestyle than it is. And we think that we shouldn't pretend otherwise.
Yes.
And we really want to do this. I don't know, how badly do we want to do it?
Moderately bad.
Yeah, it's moderately badly. Our ambitions are fairly
6 out of 10, 7
yeah,
out of 10.
somewhere in the
day.
midline.
Yeah, right.
I never have a 10-day where
Yeah.
I'm just like dreaming about that podcast.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
me neither.
I'm not.
But for all the things you could spend your time doing, this is definitely up there for sure. It holds value to me.
It holds. Our question is whether it would hold value to our listeners.
Yeah, you guys.
We never ask you to share these episodes. We never ask you to like or like press like on something.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that. I don't know why. It feels so disingenuous to me.
It's weird.
I understand it, and I'm not mad at people about it, but it is like kind of a strange moment in a video when they're like, "Make sure you smash that like button."
I am much more comfortable straight up asking people to send us money.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
Than I am asking them to feed algorithmic concerns.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that if we have integrity in our podcast, that we will most likely not please the gods of the algorithm. I'm almost certain of that. So I really don't want to build on like and subscribe type of things, but rather I am wondering. I put this out there that like we may do a paywall, and I think that the cost would be $5 a month.
Yeah, something like super low.
I think it's really, really low. It's but it's on the par with what you pay for daily news from. I mean, you pay $10 or $15 a month for other subscription services.
Right.
And so one of the problems with raising our game, we don't up our game, we raise our game.
Yeah, come on,
right?
man.
One of the problems with that is it puts on us a responsibility to create more and betterer of content.
Right, which is more time.
And
more energy.
And we become that snake that eats its tail.
An arugula.
Arugula.
What's
delicious? Arugula is delicious. When I was a kid, I couldn't stand it.
It's
Aruberous.
Aruberous.
Yeah, I think.
Gosh, dude.
I don't know. Tora Bora.
Tora Bora. Potato, tomato.
Yeah, potato, tomato.
Yeah, exactly.
So we offer these things into the ionosphere of the internet, and say, I think in April we will implement some changes. They may be mostly changes on our end.
Yeah.
But
I think it might be difficult with our current setup. I don't know. We'd have to look into how we could do that. I don't know if Podbean has a deal. Podbean.
I think that the odds are high that we're going to eventually be pivoting into some of the Subscribe Stars or the Patreons,
right?
Those kind of things.
Right.
And I think that we're going to probably ooze our way forward into a model of first half hour's free, next hour is behind a wall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do behind the scenes to get things set up that way. This is the month. March is the month that we will set up our bank account and our business identification and all those things, because we've reached $300
probably now
of support from people.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So yeah,
it's kind.
This show was actually brought to you by the folks who have squirreled their way through the clunky user interface of Podbean.
Yeah.
And have subscribed there at a repeating rate. And I think that I'm more comfortable just asking you please to support us than I am asking you to smash buttons and feed some algorithm.
Yeah.
I figure that if the podcast takes off, that there will be YouTube money or Instagram money or something like that. But I have a feeling that anytime someone's paying you, you're working for them. And we would rather be working for you than working for them.
Yes.
If we work for Instagram and we work for YouTube, then we will wind up doing what they want. If we work for you, then we're going to keep doing what we want, that you like.
Yeah.
So, and when you don't like it, you can pull your support. That's a powerful
Yeah.
That's a powerful relationship.
Right. We're trading value right now. Yeah.
I'm saying it.
I like it.
So we're looking for the people. If you know someone who might enjoy these conversations, would you do us a favor and do maybe them a favor and send it over to them?
Yeah.
Send it over to somebody. Take the Apple episode and hit the 3 buttons and select share.
Right.
And text it to a friend and say, here's a podcast that will make you feel angry and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
And help us to do this thing. We have a dream of a studio.
Yes.
We have a dream of a larger media concern. Mostly because in that dream, that the first floor of that studio would be an automotive garage that we would work on our own bikes and trucks in.
With a lift.
With lifts.
Oh God, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
We really, really want you guys to help us because we have things we'd like to do, and we wish for our work to get that to you. Totally get
With
it.
the thing.
Yeah. So, with this, we conclude this episode of the CapmLew podcast. For what it's worth, FWIW, New York Hardcore logo.
Farewell.
Farewell. It's the end of another episode. We like to thank all the people who help us by paying us money because they appreciate value in this thing. We would like to welcome people who don't pay us money to keep listening and keep enjoying.
Yeah.
And if we come through your town, maybe you could drive out and help us get our tire fixed.
Yes.
For those of you who pray, please keep us in prayer. That's a really strange time in the world, and we are talkers, and we'll be held to account for all the things we say.
It's true.
So we appreciate all of you, and thank you for listening, and we will be back shortly with another episode of the CapmLew podcast. CapmLew, for what it's worth.
Laters.
There's the audio portion. Of course, the YouTube and the Facebook always get this little afterglow.
Blue tubes.
I appreciate Eric Sanders, one of our supporters, who said good discussion this morning, afternooner.
Yeah.
That is a kind thing to say. I don't have second thoughts about doing a podcast, but it's always nice if we can know that maybe it hit the spot. We trust Eric Sanders. Each episode spend 5 minutes shouting out a board maker and tag them in a video. They'll most likely share. This is from Mike Villalobos. They'll likely share it to their audience and shout you guys out. You know, this is excellent advice. We could even more effectively do it by taking the shout out and encapsulating it into the short form.
Yes.
And putting it on our Tik-Tok, our Instagram,
Yes.
and our GoobTube as a short.
Yes.
And that way they can share the podcast. Even people don't have to listen to the whole episode.
Yeah.
Well, I hate this guy. He always shares an entire episode of some dumb podcast.
Oh
I think these guys are Christians too. I hate that. You know. Bible salesman.
Yes, dude. Yes. Finally getting into the good stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Finally, a
What
reason we're suffering for.
What a zoo.
What a zoo.
The whole world.
Yeah.
It's such a zoo.
I've got your beard hair, bro.
They're everywhere. What did they say? Disgusting or filthy? What did they say?
I think they said that's a disgusting beard.
Disgusting beard.
I was like, geez, somebody is disgusted by things that are completely normal.
You know, since none of these beard products people have picked me up and sponsored me, you know, we should start a company ourselves and call it Disgusting Beard Products. With beard in it twice. Disgusting Beard Products.
The first beard will be spelled B-A-E-R-D, and then the second one will be spelled B-E-A-R-D. Disgusting beard products with a comma.
I'm actually into it.
But it's
we should.
It's
you know
just
what?
15W40
Yeah.
diesel oil.
It's diesel transmission fluid. It's Rotella. What you do is you take a little bit of Rotella and you condition the skin. That'll fight flakiness.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Right. It doesn't fight flakiness by stopping the flakes, by shortening your lifespan.
That's right, exactly.
Let all those dinosaur juices just get to you.
Soak in, dude.
Yeah,
Soak it
dinosaur vitamins in there.
Gosh, that's hilarious.
You know what, Luke? I think it's probably the best idea is that we start our own beard and hair product company.
Yes.
I do. I think we'll just cut out the middleman.
Right.
and we'll just excuse ourselves from the whole mess.
Yeah, I like it.
So if anyone knows someone that wants to help me start a beard care and hair and skin care company,
You actually might crush that in all seriousness.
I do. Also, skull rings, silver
Yeah.
skull rings. That's the other thing. We could start our own.
This guy.
Start our own freaking fashion
Skull
jewelry.
ring.
All the skull rings that
Yeah,
you
and
could ever
t-shirts.
dream of having. Boy, those are a dime a dozen, man.
I
And they
know.
don't do real silver.
Yeah.
They're doing steel core. They're doing
Trash.
all kinds of garbage, pot metal,
Gosh.
and they're cheating you. So
The
I
lie.
already have a soap company and have access to the beard products.
What?
Okay, Mike is my guy.
Dude, Mike V is
Mike
the dude.
V has got
All of us.
all of the hookups.
Yeah.
He hit me up recently, and he has all these heavy hitters in the skateboarding industry who he's like completely tight with.
That's sick, dude.
And I'm like, Mike V is the guy. I had a conversation with him.
He's cool.
It was lovely. I mean, it's hard for me to do a phone conversation. You see me rubbing my eyes?
I know.
This is how hard it is for me to get on the phone with people who are far away and I can't go see them. That's the other thing that sponsorship and you guys helping us does is it puts us on the road. You know, the rescue.
Looks like, oh,
We rescued the feed.
look at that.
That is very interesting.
It's powerful.
Because we rescued the feed by other times not so much.
It's back.
It's back. So we thought we rescued something. You know what? It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Don't
worry about it, dude. And my second favorite response is just saying, yeah, well. Somebody says something, you just say, yeah, well.
And the silent part out loud is, you'll have that
on
these big jobs.
Yes, dude. Yes.
That's what yeah, well means.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Or you can give it an old is it Minnesota? Where they say oofta.
Oofta. I don't know, maybe.
Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Wisconsin,
Some of those guys say
Oofta.
oofta.
Or
Oofta.
yikes. Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, I love yikes.
Yeah, these are great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be in any of those states.
It's horrible cold.
They have a tundral, like, surface of Mars level winter up there.
No, literally.
And it's followed by
Hot,
mosquito.
muddy, literally a wave.
Mosquito season.
Oceanic, yes.
Dude, their mosquitoes are like an inch
No,
long.
They'll pick your ass up and just drag you
can't
away to
believe
their
it.
lair.
Yeah, small
It's
children
crazy.
have to be tethered to a tree.
Literally, dude, it's
Unbelievable.
so gnarly.
I wonder if you could lose all your blood.
I bet so.
I mean, there's a certain point at which it no longer pumps to the skin, so you probably have some jiggling around in your organs, but you'd be long gone. Mosquitoes, dude.
They're gnarly.
Unbelievable.
I surveyed up there in the winter and in 4 feet of snow. Dude, one time I found a property pin in a bank of snow that was over my head. Like literally, I dug.
What state was that?
That was Wisconsin.
You were surveying in
That was
Wisconsin?
hell. Like the first week I started at that company, it was like -15 with the wind out there, and I think that time we stayed in, but there was definitely some times we were in negatives out there trying to, literally walking through miles of fields with snow up to your waist, dude. It was insane.
Do you have like a beeper thing? How do you find it?
Yeah, with the magnets, and they have public record that you can calc into CAD and put into your data collector and go out and find stuff.
So you saw miracles every day.
Every day. I
Magnets.
saw miracles.
How do they work?
Magnets. How do they work? Yes, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Well, so I make my own beard product that I use.
That's called skin oil.
No.
It's literally just skin oil.
No, I actually make bars
What?
out of beeswax and olive oil.
I don't believe you.
You've seen it.
I've seen the container, but I've never seen you use it.
Oh, bro, I'll show it to you
This
downstairs.
is fake news. Do you really? That's
Yeah,
actually
it's
so
real.
Cool. I'm gonna try
Anytime.
my beard. Maybe mine will actually grow. And I
Oh,
won't
this
look
is
like
not what it
Oh,
does.
come on, man.
You have a beard.
I know, but it's not. Look at this. How will these people ever respect me?
I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about it. There's like two schools of thought. There's like the let it grow, man. You know, I've seen some handsome neck beards.
Yeah.
I have. I've seen guys who throw out the neck beard. They don't have chin beard.
Yeah.
But they have neck beard, and they'll even have a sparse mustache. And dude,
It looks
that's
good.
pretty cool. And then there's guys that. Then the other school of thought is no. If you can't grow a proper beard, shave your face. I don't agree with that school of thought.
Well,
I don't.
Well,
How old are you?
27.
27?
I know people. I think my dad can grow a beard, but I don't think it was until he was like 30 until it really started to crush
Yeah,
him. And
that's
I've
the other
also
thing.
heard that normally the way that it works is that you either have really good hair or good facial hair. So like you were going bald at like 16, but you have amazing facial hair. I have.
But my facial hair had missing spots in it until I was like 25.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't have any missing spots or sparse spots now, you know, but like when I was 25, it was like, oh, your beard is here. Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
That's
you
amazing.
know?
I've known you for 10 years and I've never seen you with a shaved face. And I have a theory, which is that Lou has a really soft chin. Like a one that's like really indented in. So it's just covered. He totally doesn't.
It's a
that
prosthetic.
Would be so funny.
Yeah.
A prosthetic, dude.
No, under my beard is just another fist.
It's just another fist. Yes,
Chuck
dude.
Norris joke.
Yes, dude. So beautiful.
Yeah. No, I don't have... You know, one time in high school, I got snagged into a photo shoot because of my jawline.
Really?
I never thought I had a good jaw. I never thought of a jawline as something I really had one of.
Yeah. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing when I'm old, I'm going to have a big old double chin. I don't even care.
You know, I don't even know if I think anything about these things.
Yeah.
Which is why, like...
I have chin dysmorphia.
I really want our podcast and our media to put us on the road with people. I do. I really do. I want it to put us on the road.
I would love that.
On Harleys, wrench and ride, full adventure.
Yes.
Now, some of that's a bit freewheeling for those of us with new baby grandkids and new children. But not really. I mean, Luke's worst case scenario is pulling the files from the downloads and editing them together from a bay while he's able to work at home.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
No.
But anything 2 hours away.
Yeah, no, that's well within reach.
It's totally doable.
Well, and if it really gets going, then I could bring wife and baby with and get Airbnbs, and we could actually be professional in some ways.
The fun fact about it is you throw a GoPro on your wife's vehicle and just take a few hours of B-roll during a trip.
Literally.
And that is like sick.
Yes.
That B-roll on the road, and of course we could play to it by pulling up to the GoPro and doing
doing
all that fist bumpy silliness.
Right, yeah.
Safety.
Yes.
Third.
Micro.
But I like Micro.
Me too.
I think he's an overall good for the ecological system of thinking. I really do.
Me too.
I do. I like him.
I think that puts us well into the right-wing extremist.
No, he's not a right-winger.
Dude, I had this
he's
crazy...
a San Francisco media guy.
I think people have jumped the shark. They think crazy things, dude. I mean, just the lightest conservative values, and suddenly you're literally an extremist. It's insane. If you voted for Trump, apparently you're a right-wing extremist.
I find all of that very dark and sad
too.
Because among the Trump voters, I have found so many people who just care about their neighbors.
Yeah.
And all of the politics is super corrupt.
Yeah,
all of it is
two wings on the same bird.
Aside from true renewal in the spirit of a human being, you're not going to find the light of day in any of these seen realm models. So don't put your hope in a utopian leftist thing, and don't put your hope in a right wing. There's a word for it. Theonomy is the hardcore.
Is that what that is?
Hardcore Bible guys who want the law of God to be the law of the land.
Yeah,
very dark.
Right.
I'm not a theonomist at all. I oppose that. Jesus identified that as the leaven of Herod, and I oppose that. Yeah. Well, we have lots and lots to share, and very little time to do so, and we're going skateboarding. So, the legend of Lou Chin.
Lou Chin. Lou Chin.
What a great thing to say.
I love it.
That's my son, Aaron. This episode brought to you by Solution Roofing.
If your roof is pollution, call Solution Roofing.
Today! Yeah! Solution Roofing putting on a lot of roofs and doing a great job. It's different than the guys who just fly by night. This company will be around for a long time.
100%.
High commitment.
If we're gonna go skate, we better jump on. I got a thing at 5:30.
All right, well, we're going to skate.
Laters.
Much love for what it's worth.